Greg, how are you?
I'm doing all right. So calendars are a dangerous thing.
Tell me why.
I just clicked on the link that showed up on the little Google page. It said, "Go talk to John." Yeah, it threw me into Google Meet, and I'm like, "We don't meet there, I don't think." And then, I picked up my phone and I looked at the calendar. I was like, "That's a Zoom link. I'm in Google Meet." Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not in the right place. It's like going to the wrong physical address for a meeting.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky because when you do email, they want to use their obviously their thing,
Yeah.
right? But
So
yeah. But here we are in Zoom.
So I jumped over here real quick, and hopefully I wasn't too far behind when I where I was supposed to be.
We're good. We're good. So how'd your week go? What fill me in?
Oh man, it was everywhere all at once. I had a day. Sunday kind of crushed me for the balance between then and today. I drove about 350 to 400 miles showing property on Sunday, and then caught a plane and flew to Salt Lake City to uh, to help my wife get stuff fixed at the condo up there that it all seemed to break at the same time.
Three, so wait a second. On one day you threw 300 miles showing property
Yeah, yeah,
to
that's
one
not
client?
too.
What I mean, what are they looking for? Like a ranch?
So,
Like
yeah, it's close. So one of them
okay.
is looking for a lake property, and we found a cool
Okay.
one and went and had a great tour.
All right.
And it was 120, 130 miles south of Dallas. So, and it was almost a 2 hour drive to get back there. And
Yeah.
then down an interstate, then turn into the middle of Texas and drive back to
So
Three
so
Roads.
how'd you connect with this client that's so far away from you? Is it just a client that's in your pipeline that
It's a referral from a Utah agent.
okay.
And we've actually done lots of referrals back and forth with each other.
Right.
And it's been a good relationship. And it is his uncle, and they started looking at a lake that's really close to Dallas. It's the lake that everybody buys on from Dallas and goes
Okay, I
there.
got
And
you.
so
So I'm wondering how you got so far away. Is
then we
it
wandered, and they have friends that live on. I didn't even know this lake existed. I've lived in Texas forever, and he was
uh-huh.
like, "What about Lake Limestone? Can you help us there?" And I was like,
I never heard of it.
"Sure, let me go figure out where it is." And so, since I have the license, yes, I can help you. And they've been super people to work with, and they do a lot
Is
of
it a
great stuff.
big one for you? Is it a
No, it's not. It's more for the relationship with the other agent,
okay.
making sure his
All
people
right.
are taken care of.
All right.
And it'll end up being, I don't know, probably 400, 500. It's not
Okay.
bad. It's just not huge.
Yeah.
And then from there, I've got another client that is a longstanding client of mine, and good connection point again into a whole nother social network. And 2 years ago, I helped her buy a townhouse, and she bought it for going to work, and it was convenient for that. Now she is finding out how much stuff she's doing with family that lives somewhat close by, but not exactly close by. And so now she wants to move out, and she's moving away from me. So I went down to this lake, and then I turned around and went back up to show her
Oh, wow.
properties. And then I
Wow.
came back home, and then I had to drive to the airport and then fly at 10:30 that night to go to Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And then I had started at like 6 the next day in Salt Lake City, and 4 hours of sleep and a lot of weariness, and then I've been kind of dragging since then. So that's the week. Um, yeah. So I ended up I've listed the second one that's trying to move. I just listed her property. That was the good thing, is we started getting close, and she's like, "Well, how do we do this?" And I was like, "We ain't got to do nothing if we don't get your property sold. So let's go get on the market." And that was the impetus to actually get her listed. So that happened last week.
Okay.
It was good. And I have another listing coming next week, I think. Um, so it's all of a sudden it started getting busy again, and I'm running around with it. I'm ready to start closing out buyers. I'm collecting them right now, and collecting
Yeah.
them in the car is a bad thing. Somebody's got to
Yeah.
get ejected, which means we got to
Yeah.
finish the deal with one of these people.
Yeah. There's obviously this is a great time to buy a home. Like if
Yeah, because there ain't nobody
you
out there. I'm like, where the
yeah.
hell do they all go?
Try this leverage piece too for your database.
Okay,
So there's a lot of people worrying about where their 401ks are headed right now.
right.
A lot of Americans have a 401k, right?
Yeah.
They're
You know how
worried
much real
about where,
estate's changing? None.
yeah. And a lot of people don't know. they can take money out of their 401k without penalty and go buy an investment property with it,
Mhm.
right? And you and I know that. But I would say that a massive amount of the general population doesn't know that, right? And even if they did know that, they were like, well, why would I do that? Because it's safe on my 401k. Well, I don't fucking think it's that safe in your 401k
Uh,
when
I don't
it's
either. And I
so
don't think I've
volatile
seen
right now.
I don't think I've seen anything as safe as real estate over the long term.
Yeah, yeah,
It is
yeah. So I would
and
be
going back,
having
I've
in your
been
normal course of conversations with folks, um, you know, it's just like, have you ever thought about investing? Right. So in your regular normal course of DDD2 calls, or you're calling your database to just have conversations with people, check-ins with your past clients, um, instead of asking them the question of like, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell real estate, which you could always still ask that question. Have you ever thought about buying a investment property? Phil Jones, you know who Phil Jones is,
Mhm.
right? Now you'll throw a little Phil Jones in there. You say, I have a lot of clients right now, a lot of my family and friends that are looking to take money from their stock investments, like from their 401k, and they're putting it to work in buying real estate. Okay, now this Phil Jones piece is because now I just gave them permission because other people are doing it,
All right.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the scripting in that, right? So in your course of calls over the next couple of weeks, give this a try and just have these conversations with folks. I said I've got several of my clients right now that are taking that money out of their stock portfolios and they're putting it into real estate. Oh, I wish I had a stock portfolio because, well, they're actually, yeah, that's a fancy term. I said stock portfolio, but it's there out of their 401k.
401k. Yeah. You do.
Out of my 401k, I said, yeah, you could take money out, and they probably won't know. You could take money out of your 401k and invest it in real estate and have that part of your without any kind of penalty, right? And oh, I didn't know I could do that, right? Well, I heard the real estate market's terrible right now and everything's depressed.
That's why
Well,
you want to buy.
oh.
Buy low, sell
Look,
high.
look, you don't want to scare the shit out of them because you want to talk to them about selling their home sometime in the future. But so yeah, well, I mean, it's a good time to buy, right? Yeah, it is a good time to buy, right?
And I've got to
And
update this graph. And this I've been tracking it. Dallas is kind of cool because we're part of, and I think Atlanta is too, actually. The Case-Shiller index is they're tracking 20 major metros, and they have been since the year 2000, and they index pricing every month. And
yeah,
I'm actually way behind on this. But I
is
just pulled
Dallas
this up
faring
the
better
other
than
day.
Austin? Because I know Austin's pretty depressed.
Dallas is better than Austin
Yeah,
right now. It's a little bit more stable than Austin. Austin is probably the most fickle market of the big cities in the state.
yeah, right.
And
Would you say that's because they just overbuilt new construction?
Yeah, and they had more California money flood in than anybody else.
Okay, okay.
See if I can get this pulled up and I'll show you what I've been doing for. Oh, that's just the new data. So I found the new data. I just haven't actually imported it yet. Where's the old file? This one, I think. Yeah, there we go. We got all these tabs on here. Let me share this. Share to share. All right. That's what Case-Shiller looks like in Dallas. Um, and it's
Okay.
starting. I started tracking this in the like probably in 2011, 2010, 2011, as the market was
Right.
still trying to come back from the last craziness that we had. And it it looked like pretty much from the beginning here, going all the way up to 2007, you're on a total run up. Then you have this little dip that's here, and then all of a sudden here, starting off in 2012, I think it was January of 2012, my phone started ringing, and it didn't stop until about, I don't know, 22. It was like 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, then and so I zoomed in a little bit on different places. There's that's 2015 to 2023, so that you don't get quite as huge a cliff on that view. This one came in a little bit closer. That's the pandemic
Hmm.
to the end of 2023, and then it's flattened back out again. And that's why I haven't put those data points in. I went and found them the other day. The data's all at the Fed. Um, and so anyways, this has been part of my it's been part of my story for a
Good.
while,
Yeah, that's great.
is I'm
Yeah.
telling people, look, this is the thing. So if you're talking about safety and investment, like where's the major crash in this? If
Yeah.
I go all the way back, go back to that very first picture and say, yeah, where was a bad point in here to invest?
Right.
And everything made money except that unless you were invested from 2007 to maybe like 2011. Then there's a 4-year period where if you were in there, then that didn't work out so well for you initially. But if we come in by 2013, you're totally healthy again. so
Yeah.
so as long as you're planning on putting the money there for longer than a couple of years, then you're going to come out good on this. Now, I think if I did this with the stock market and I don't know, pick a big index, the S&P 500, I probably see the same kind of performance out of the S&P 500 too. There's a couple.
It's exactly what the S&P looks like, right? There's write-ups and then it's always moving in this direction, right? It's always
Yep.
moving up and
It always
diagonal,
has.
but
And the only,
there's moments where it's going down. Like even they're talking about like the worst crashes that we've had back when Bush was president and stuff like that. And a couple of weeks ago, they said it was a really bad crash again, but it's always on a ride north, right?
yep.
So you're never going to lose if you've got your money in in the stock market in mutual funds and if you're buying dollar cost averaging, you're not going to like you'll lose if you pop in and out. You're a day trader, yeah, you'll lose your shirt.
Yeah.
But if you just got your money in blue chips and you just ride the
If you're in
index,
blue chips, you're kind of
yeah,
like you are in real estate. The only
yeah,
way that you lose is if you sell.
right,
Right. You hold the
yeah,
blue chip, it's going to come back eventually. And so
yeah,
this graph I started tracking, and the color coding on this was I was looking for seasonality. And the red bars on this, those are fourth quarters. Um,
okay,
and so that's November, December, January, and February. So it's fourth quarter to first quarter, wintertime doldrums. And if you notice on here, in 2015, it went up. In
yeah,
2016, it went up. In
yeah,
2017, it went up. In 2018, it went up. In 2019, it went up. So for many years, I was pitching this to my clients in the fourth quarter saying, there's no seasonality anymore. Um,
right.
I think it's back actually. If we looked at the data that's a little bit more recent, I think the last couple of years have had a little bit more seasonality than they had before.
Yeah, last year is definitely seasonal, and I think we're
Um,
gonna see, or I think we're seeing a lot of popping up right now. I think we're gonna have a stronger summer than
look at this
everything,
one,
but
the
yeah,
fourth quarter of 2021. That's almost
yeah,
as steep a gain as there is anywhere on that whole curve, and it
yeah, yeah,
happened in
yeah,
the fourth quarter.
yeah. That's
Um,
obviously COVID, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
um,
All right, let's look at this. You've got this is a great story to tell. I would take this chart along with go look for rental opportunities for $250,000 in your market.
ooh, that's kind of them. Condos.
Okay. There's not a ton of them here either, so you're gonna have
Yeah,
to go outside the metro. So,
yeah.
so for us, it's a little bit outside the metro, and they're usually townhomes and condos, right?
Yeah.
That you
That's
can,
what it'll be. I could get
but
townhomes and condos in the metro for
yeah,
250, but no,
that are
but I'm looking
rentable,
at houses.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, do your homework on them. Go find the 250 that are rentable, and then go look at the rental rates.
Hmm.
right? If the rental rates on them are around 2 grand a month, that's a winner because now you can go back and tell somebody that they could buy as an investment because they could put 20% down. They could take $50,000 out of their stock portfolio, their 401k, and they can buy it. And you can show the story about what happens over time, right? Then one of my favorite ones straight out of MREI, right? There
Mhm.
you go. Perfect. You've already got your calculator all set, right?
Yeah, so this is tracking 1 to 4 properties. So over here on the left, you've got 4 tenants that you can put into it. So if it's one house, you just put in one. If there's duplex, two, and then you just
Yeah,
kind of run it along.
love it.
And it is tabulating a bunch of stuff. You can purchase it. You figure out what the market value is at the end of it. How long are you going to hold it? Over on the right hand side, I can
Yeah,
when I'm going to exit. It will scale just kind of based on. I think I did this at 4%, just from your purchase to the end because that's historically about what you get out of real estate. So I just
yeah,
ran it up 4% a year to the exit point and said that's what we could count on. And factors in the closing costs and the purchase and the sale transaction, and then comes out at the bottom of it and shows you here's your investment summary, your initial investment, what
sweet.
the NPV was, what the ROI was. Um,
If would you mind sharing that with me? I'd love to.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
thank you very much. Yeah,
and
so you're showing on the sheet, you're showing on the house, and you're just packaging it up, right?
yep.
Because a first time investor, especially a first time investor, they you need to answer all the questions for them, just like
And
you're doing
the other
here.
one for them that they're really worried about is like, how much money am I really investing? And so that's the sum of it right there. Is it
Right.
you can come in and do whatever that is. So this is actually modeling the investment property that I'm trying to
Yeah.
sell right now. Is
Yeah.
what's running through here.
And
Um,
you know this as an investor, right? That if and this is an example I tell people all the time, if I bought a home for $100,000 and I had it was basically being paid for from the rent, right? I invested $20,000 into it, and the $80,000 that I was carrying, my renter was paying the mortgage the whole time, and 20 years later, it's paid off. 15 years later, it's paid off. Whenever the number comes in, right? It's paid off, and I sold it for $100,000. How much money did I lose?
None.
Yeah, I mean, people don't wrap their heads around that. So even the part, just if you're holding a long-term rental investment, even if it doesn't appreciate in value, which is crazy because they will, right? Even if it doesn't appreciate in value, you just made $80,000 on your $20,000 investment.
That's the
Right?
interesting thing about this
Yeah.
model is that
Yeah.
one of my questions as I started modeling this is when does NPV go positive?
Yeah.
Or at least get back to zero.
Yeah.
And it's when you sell. If you're holding the property the whole damn time, you're underwater. If you're leveraged at all, unless you are paying cash, NPV
Right.
will be negative through the whole damn thing. And then the very last entry is, oh, and I sold it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And that's what makes it all come home. But
Yeah. So here's what you're gonna do. Here's what you're gonna do. Package up a couple of homes just like this, right? With the sheet, the property, what it's gonna cost, like the actual
yep,
property, send that out to your database,
yep,
right? See who calls in. Hopefully you get some people calling in. And then the conversation you're gonna have is just the one I just modeled. Have you ever thought about investing in real estate? No, I haven't. I don't have any money to invest in real estate. What about your stock portfolio, your 401k? Oh, I don't know. What? What are you talking about? Then you give an education on how they could take that money out. And then hey, you know what? Are you near your phone? Let me text you this chart. You show them your chart, or you can even put the chart in the email that you're going to send out. Did you see that chart that was in the email? It's always going up, right? The real estate's always going up. You're never going to lose. And then you could even use that example if you owned it for 20 years and you bought it for 100, you sold it for 100, how much did you make? Well, I didn't make anything. No, you made $80,000, right? If as long as the renter's paying the mortgage off for you, right? So this is a lead gen I want you to get into because right now because this is like a little bit of untapped right now, and I think it could be really topical with what's going on with the stock market. stock market. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to send you over the next week and a half. I've got to get it together. A Google form to fill out. It's going to have basically asking your numbers, so I got to update your numbers in our system. All right.
Okay.
I'm tasked to track with that. Then, if you could just write this down, if you could text this to me later, email us later. The three biggest values that you want to see that are important to you for coaching. What are the values, right? And like one of the values could be like we say values would be honesty, integrity, um, you know, persistence. So values as it relates to that terminology. What are the three biggest values that you're looking for in coaching, right? We're kind of putting together with our coaching organization. We're kind of consolidating these values into um, one cohesive area so that we can all understand what's the most important things we need to focus on with everybody. So if you
Gotcha.
could send us that. We'll start tracking some of the numbers. So like I said, I'll send you the Google form. Maybe we'll just fill out that Google form once a month. I don't want to stress you out and have the report numbers to me all the time. I'll just send it out periodically, quite frankly. And then your pipeline. Do you have a physical pipeline sheet that you're working on?
Um, yes and no. So
Okay.
yes, I have one. Have I kept it current when it's just me right now?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Okay. So
But,
let's
but I
so
can.
so
That's easy.
so we got a little bit of homework. So
Yep.
homework's going to be like we're going to get this email out to your database with some investment opportunities. Then we're going to follow it up with some phone calls. And you probably know the right people to call. You're not going to call
Yep.
your buyer who just bought a $200,000 house
Right.
themselves. You're going to call your
I'm
buyers
gonna call
that
the
you know.
people that actually have money to invest.
Yeah, yeah. So you know who to call. You'll be focused on who to call. Your next bit of homework would be just is your pipeline. That's the big one. Let's get your pipeline beefed back up. And I'm going to give you an example of who goes on the pipeline, just so that we understand that who's on there. This Sunday, I was at church, and there's a couple of dads hanging around waiting for our kids to come out. And one of the dads said, "Oh, hey, John's a realtor. He might know who could do your floors." And I got introduced to somebody, and he said, and I said, "Oh yeah, looking to do floors over." And obviously it's our opportunity as real estate agents. So you're looking to sell your house, or is it something you want to live on because it's going to make a difference of who I recommend, right? And the guy goes, "Well, we're probably going to be selling our house sometime soon, right?" And I said, "Well, okay, let me recommend this guy. You know what? Text me your phone number, and then I'll text you back my contact information." And then, of course, when he did that, asked for his email address, and then, of course, I looked him up in Forewarn. I got his address. Now he's in my database. He went in my pipeline, all right. But he's like pipeline, and I got my pipeline listed out as like 1 is like the most active, and 6 is
Yep.
like the least active. He went in my
Gotcha.
pipeline as a 6,
Yep.
right? Because who knows, right? Of course, I added him to my 36 touch. He's in my
Right.
36 touch as well, right? But he's in my pipeline. So that's the person in my pipeline. And then I've got a listing appointment on Friday that I'm going on, and that person's listed on my pipeline as a 1,
Right.
right? So go back through all your notes, your paper, wherever you got shit, and just put everybody on your pipeline. Because I want to look at that next week with you and just kind of like look out. Let's start forecasting future business. And however
Okay.
you want to list them out, 1, 2, 3, 1 through 6, however you feel comfortable, there's no right or wrong to it. But when you're doing it, we just need their name, maybe just a phone number, and some notes on where you met them, what they're looking for, and the price range, or at least the price, a guesstimate of what they're going to buy. 400,000, 500,000. It's probably not going to be very accurate. We probably could change that, because what we're going to do is make this a forecasting model for how our business is going to look over the rest of the year. So we know where to peel back spending, where to add spending, whether we're going to add an assistant, take away an assistant. We're going to kind of look at that as our forecasting model. Got it?
Okay. Yeah, and I'll show you. This is on. I'm actually in my office today, and if I
And yeah, you've got it everywhere. You got it on boards. I know you are just like every you know, everybody, we got these pipelines everywhere. You froze on me. Am I frozen or you're frozen? You there, Greg? There we go.
So
We're
that
back.
didn't work very good. So that one was that I was showing you is the funnel board, and it's just had everybody listed on it, and it's
Yeah.
wherever they are, right? And
Yep.
some of them I would circle every once in a while and go, that one's going to move, and then
Perfect. Right.
eventually they hit these ones that are over on this wall, and
Yep.
the top one's buyers, the bottom one's listings.
Yeah.
So then those are people that have active agreements.
Yep.
And then eventually they spin around, and this is the board I haven't really done anything with this year, but that's the close board for the year.
Yep.
And so you just
Okay.
list
You
them all.
got it. So you got your pipeline like you should. You got your pipelines in 20 different places, which I
Right.
love. That's
Yep.
great.
And
Get it on a spreadsheet so we can do forecasting with it.
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then we can forecast what we want to buy for investments. That's a good forecasting model for us.
Okay.
All right, buddy. If you need me, call me.
All right. So, oh, real quick,
Yeah, please.
what is your email address?
I'll text it right to you right now.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect. I got a couple things I'm going to shoot over to you. The other thing we didn't talk about is I started playing with Chat GPT, which has been really interesting.
Yeah.
And a book called You Are the Brand that we've been reading is an ALC, and there's a bunch of exercises in it. So I started doing those exercises in Chat GPT and kind of cycling through all the stuff, and
Awesome.
it's producing some interesting results. So I'll say it's
Hey,
very
one of
emotional
the
right now because I told it to be very emotional. I was like, logic makes them think, emotion makes them act. So I'm like, go off the deep end, theatrical, emotional, crazy, and it's goofy sounding, but I was like, this just might work. So
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Chat. Hey, one of the cool things I just learned from ChatGPT, if you go take a picture of any kind of appliance tag, like you do it on your HVAC system, water heater, your
yep.
refrigerator, whatever you want to do, take a picture of the appliance tag and then put into ChatGPT and say, how old is this appliance? And it'll tell you exactly all the stats on the appliance.
Oh, yes, I do that all the time with those
I
tags.
love it.
But I always have to like Google it and say it's an A.O. Smith water heater with this serial number. How do you dissect the age? Because I know the age is in here, but
You just picture,
ChatGPT,
boom, it
bam,
just boom, just
nice.
like that.
Okay,
All right, buddy.
cool.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.